Why do you need one of these guitars in your collection? Let's find out. If you're watching this video, chances are you're not already subscribed to the channel, so make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest videos. Hi, Sam from Guitar Village here. The Gibson ES300 series is often overlooked by guitarists who tend to favour solid body models like the Les Paul, the SG, the Strat or the Tele. And when you look at some of the players that have used the Gibson ES300 series over the years, you've got players like Eric Johnson, Eric Clapton, Chuck Berry, you've got Keith Richards, B.B. King, Freddie King, Noel Gallagher, Chris Cornell, just to name a few. We put the reason for this down to players maybe not knowing what these guitars can offer and what they're capable of, and maybe what the differences are between, say, the 335, the 345 or the 355. So we've put together this video to talk about the differences and explain them. We're going to do some of the history on these models, and we're going to do some playing as well so you can hear these guitars for yourself and see what you think. Let's get started. During the 1930s, Gibson released their first ever archtop guitar with an electric guitar pickup in it. And by the 1940s, they expanded this across their lineup, just like this Gibson ES175 I have in front of me. It's a fully hollow archtop guitar with a P90 electric guitar pickup in it. However, these guitars were prone to feedback, so Gibson had to design something new to combat this. And in 1952, they came up with a solution, the Les Paul solid body electric guitar. While the Les Paul is a guitar that everyone knows is one of the most popular electric guitars ever produced, it wasn't initially really popular with players. So Gibson had to go back to the drawing board again and come up with a new solution. In the late 50s, I think they came up with an answer, and Gibson did too. The Gibson ES335. They also released the ES345 and the ES355 in the subsequent years. These guitars featured Gibson's brand new humbucking pickups and a centre block down the middle, and they were also thin line models as well, so they weren't prone to feedback in the same way that those archtops were. Let's take a look at each of these models in depth. The 335 is probably the most recognised of these three guitars and was the first one of the lineup released. Featuring low levels of trim, this would probably be seen as maybe the basic model of the three. All three guitars offer the same distinctive semi-hollow sound. They're very versatile and they just sound incredible. The model I have in front of me is the Gibson Custom Shop VOS 59 reissue in the sunburst finish. Next, let's take a look at the ES345. Gibson, being a luxury brand, couldn't make just one basic model. They had to make two more luxurious models as well. And the 345 is the mid-price model in that lineup. Featuring gold hardware, split parallelogram inlays, you've got extra top binding there as well. And also it has some really unique circuitry. You have this baritone switch for cutting and boosting certain frequencies and stereo output. So you can plug into 2 different amplifiers with control set in the 3-position switch. The model I have in front of me is an original 1964 vintage ES345 TD in Sunburst. The last guitar on our list, the Gibson ES355. This is the top line of these 3 models, and if you want something that's really fancy, this is the go-to guitar. You get upgraded tuners, you get extra binding around the headstock, the pick guard, the front of the guitar, and they even put extra binding around the back of it too. They keep with the gold hardware like on the ES345. You also get this split diamond headstock inlay. You've got big block inlays on the fretboard, which is made of ebony. This particular example I have in front of me is the Gibson Custom Shop 59 reissue VOS in the really slick looking ebony finish. Something you may have noticed on some of the Gibson ES300 series and some of the other ES models is that they have letters after the name. So it might be ES125T, and that T stands for thin line. You might also get TD, which is thin line double pickup, very common on things like the 330s. Or you might have TDC, which is thin line double pickup cherry, or TDN, which is exactly the same but in a natural finish. You might even get something as long as TDSV, which is thin line double pickup stereo varitone, or even TCD, which is thin line cutaway double pickup. By this point you may still be wondering which model is right for you. As you've heard from the video, they do sound fairly similar. There's not a massive distinction between each of the sounds of these guitars. What I would say is that it's probably something you're going to base on looks more than anything else. So do you like the workmanlike look of the Gibson ES335, or do you like the super fancy 355? Or maybe you want to experiment with some new tones with the ES345 and its varitone switch. What I would say is get into a guitar shop, try these out, because each model is different. All the gear used in today's video will be linked in the description below, so make sure you follow those links to check out any of the gear used in more depth. We'll be bringing out new videos every Friday at 4 PM, so subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with our latest videos. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up too.